Bianca Marroquín and Chad Austin. Welcome to Token Theater Friends. We're very happy to have you. Uh, can we start by talking about this fabulous campaign you have going on, Chad, called I Will, and how did Bianca become involved in it?
Of course, first, thank you for having me. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here on this snowy day.
Beautiful.
um, I Will campaign. It actually started for me as a necessity during the pandemic because I was losing a little bit of my own personal passion. I was scared, I think, like the rest of the world. I won't go into too much of my own anxiety, but at the helm of a theater company, I was seeing all of these campaigns that were, we miss the theater. I hope the theater comes back, but there was never really something that seemed as positive as I will sing again, I will dance again, I will go to the theater again. So I woke up one morning and I had all of these projects that I was supposed to do this year to start our 28th season of producing theater in New York City. And I woke up and I said, I will do those projects again. It may not be in the next 6 months. It may not be in 9 months, but I will direct that play. So I pitched the idea to my team, and then they loved it and they really connected to the message. And then I called and emailed some friends, including Bianca, and I asked them if they would just sign on or what their I will would be. And the result from people, including Bianca, who was one of the first people I asked for so many reasons, because she is an inspiration, you are, and a light and a joy. And Bianca sent me back her message, I believe, in 24 hours, which, you guys, Jose, Alicia, you must know what that means when you reach out to someone who's across the world and they drop everything to make a video to show their support for this campaign. And Bianca, truly, I know I said that to you in an email, but she did exactly that. So I gathered around 20 people all across the globe. Ruthie Hinshaw from London, Francis Ruffell, Kate Baldwin here from the city, Andrew Lippa, B, formerly known as Eve Insler, just a huge amount of people. And then we also reached out to our patrons and we started this campaign and made this video, and it had a really huge impact on a lot of people.
I will be on stage again, dancing until I can't.
I'll sing alone, and for the first time in my life, I really want to be on my own with you.
I will continue to write plays that speak the unspoken.
Thank you for asking about it, and thank you for letting me go on about it.
Chad, I know you've jumped ahead in virtual theatrical experiences, so I'll just ask about that specifically. When the pandemic started, I immediately asked myself, are theater companies going to turn themselves into media companies? Because everybody has to adapt to the circumstances. Of course, there's no right or wrong answer. But can you tell me a little bit about what that looks like for the Abingdon, especially after the premiere of Estella Scrooge, which I loved. I saw it last week. Yes.
Oh, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. It was quite the twist. You can only imagine when you've planned everything to be live on stage. And I really wanted to.
So Estella was going to be a live show?
Estella was going to be a live show. So that is that, and they're hoping that all of the theater companies that are involved in promoting Estella, that it will have that sort of new Christmas holiday storytelling with a twist.
Yeah.
But the first thing we did actually was a short play virtual festival.
Yes.
Which was actually never planned. Obviously, virtually was never an idea at that point, but it also came from the climate of the theater with Black Lives Matter. So a lot of people were putting out statements of support. Of course, I strongly support the mission and the diversity, and I feel like the company has done a wonderful job in its past 27 years of doing so as well. But I wanted to do something a little bit more than just make a statement. And I took the funds that would have been allocated to actually some stage readings, and we made a BIPOC short play festival. So all of the pieces were written by people of color, about stories of color, directed by people of color, and starring people of color. And I got over 80 submissions.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was a lot of reading, but I enjoyed every second of it. And we were able to produce 6 pieces virtually and over 2 weeks. And each piece had over 500 views on YouTube. They were able to watch. So that's sort of the first way the first choice. And I was very proud of that. And it's something that worked so well. And I've connected with so many new directors and playwrights and actors that may never have submitted something to me or known about Abingdon, and I certainly didn't know about them. So I was really excited about that. And I actually just already wrote it into my plans for next year. I don't know if you probably guys figured this out. We've got a plan like already a year ahead. So it's like I'm working on this year, but planning on next year. So that was our first virtual, really jumping into it, was the festival.
The two of you are extraordinary dancers, and I'm really curious, as I'm very clumsy and I don't know how to move that well. So I'm very curious for people who express themselves through dance. How has movement changed when it's restricted to like maybe your homes and your apartment, and you're not walking outside, you're not going anywhere? I wonder if you've noticed new ways in which your body is expressing movement, or have you, do you try to like remember how to like do the things that you haven't been doing because you're not on stage, since March?
Bianca, you want to answer that one?
Well, of course, going back to the I Will project, I wanted to say that I was really moved by it. And of course, we're all living through this anxiety and this uncertainty of what's going to happen. And then all this nostalgia of everything that you've done. And then all of a sudden it pauses. And then your brain, you have to tell your brain, no, it's just a pause. It's going to come back. It's going to come back, because you get confused. And it's almost like, well, that's that. I lived a good life. Okay. Yeah. It's really, you can get trapped into a little depressing hole, and you have to keep the hope and keep the faith, keep positive. So this project of yours, Chad, I Will. So of course it's like, no. Hang on to that. No, trust that it is going to come back. So I will dance again, and I will do all these things. So that immediately, that's why I did it, because that's exactly what I needed. Thank you. And I don't, not to tell myself and not to tell you, but to tell the rest of the world. And so they all can have the same message. We'll get through this, and it'll all come back. It's just certain things that the universe needs to put in place and rearrange. And in the meantime, do the inner work, right? Do the inner work so we can come out of this a little better version of ourselves. Anyway, so dancing, of course, I miss it. I miss the stage. I miss moving. So everybody has to be creative in their own spaces, depending on where you are, to keep active and keep your body moving. I, for instance, like to run. So I'll try to, like, from 4 to 5 times a week, get my run in, because it's my juices and it's all my articulations and my muscles and my brain. Because when I run, it's like therapy for me, and I visualize what I want to do and all my plans that I want to do, and keep creative. The things that I've done, all those projects that I've done on Zoom that I've participated in, that they've invited me to do, some videos I've turned in, and I'll go downstairs. I created my basement in this new house that my husband and I moved out to in the country, and I made it into a dance studio, and I put up mirrors, that's a dream of mine. I've always wanted to do that, and I finally did it. So the floor, my bar, and my mirrors. So this one of the concerts that I did for Viva Broadway, they asked me to do Spanish Rose. So I did it all in my space, and my husband was filming, and I was trying to, but of course, within the camera, don't move a lot, don't come out of the camera. So it's not, you're a little limited. Another reading that I did for Susan Stroman and John Kander for New York, New York, I had a character in there, the barfly, which is awesome, she's so funny and everything, but she's a dancer. Technically, Susan wasn't supposed to choreograph. This is a reading. But then she told us, you do what you want, you do what you want. So within my little, phone on the tripod, whatever, I was trying to do things fully and just like, and then like little things that technically, let's keep it like for the record, Susan did not choreograph these. I don't want to get her into trouble. But it's those little things that we're doing on camera and sending, and those of us that are dancers that are getting to just read or sing, or yes, I miss it so much. I cannot wait to get back on the stage to fully fill up a stage and use, full extension of the stage and chalet across the stage, and so it is we got to find our ways to keep active, but also keep our minds positive and in the frequency, on a positive frequency, to attract the good things rather than the bad things,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to say that I just took my first, I have been retired as a dancer for quite a while. As soon as I moved into the artistic world, in the admin world, but still dabble in some choreography and direction within that. But I will tell you, hopefully it's kind of a funny story, but I took my first online Zoom class from Bianca, from Michelle Potter from Chicago.
Michelle Potter.
Yes. So shout out to Michelle Potter's cardio dance class on, I believe, Thursday nights. And I was sweating so bad. I kept turning the video off so no one would see me.
I don't want them to see me. I'm going to take it. Does she do them every Thursday?
She does that every Thursday. Every Thursday.
Where can I find her?
You know what? I'll send it to you.
You send me the link.
Because she'll love it. Because it was so much fun. And actually, she did Money from Cabaret.
Money. Wow.
And it was so much fun. And anyway, I did that. But it was funny because I sent her a picture afterwards and I was sweating and the whole thing. And she's
yes.
And I was like, "Ooh, my living room got to work out. My living room got to work out."
Well, the reason why I did the dance space in my basement was because a friend of mine that has a ballet school in Mexico City asked me to give a master class. And I said, I don't even know how to. And my husband's the one that said, no, don't say no. Wait, we were fixing our home and we asked the workers at our home, there happened to be Mexican people in Mexican community. And they said, I have some mirrors. I have a leftover floor from this other project that I did. So it was they all put it up for me. It was all donated. And that's how my room came about. Mm-hmm. And so I taught a class, and it was a original choreography of mine to a song of mine from an album that I have in Spanish, Bien Sen Me. Mm-hmm. And I did it to all these beautiful dancers, ballet dancers, from 10, 11 years old to like 22. And we had 30 some students on Zoom. Like, how am I going to do this? And it turned out to be the best thing that I was able and to give a class and express it.
Yeah, what an amazing thing. Your husband said, you will do this. You can do this. And then you put that out there. And then the people working in your house, they made that all happen. And then that's amazing.
It was magical. And it was magical, and it was the universe.
She's magical, guys. Yes, you are. It's okay. We can say it. We can say it. You're magical. You bring up. I'm sure they were just in heaven coming to work at your house every day. So I would have said, yeah, we can build a new floor. Let's do it. We can do this.
And they did it. I have to show you, Chad. I'm going to send you like a little videos of choreography, because there's nothing better. I mean, there's lots of marvelous things, but to see your creation and then a little girl, beautiful, do it your creation and you just sit there and watch them just cry.
Mm. That's
It's amazing.
I miss
What
the
a
little
gift.
ones in dance.
Right?
They're the sweetest. They're the
They
sweetest.
give you so much. You learn so much from them. And you're reminded of so much.
Absolutely.
You watch them. Yeah.
So, Chad, I'm curious. As I mentioned earlier, I love Estella. Are there going to be more musicals like Estella in the future, or was that like a one-off thing?
We actually participated in another musical virtual experience on World AIDS Day. Elegies. I don't know if you guys call this elegies for angels, punks, and raging queens.
Yes, I'm familiar with that one, and I know that's part of your roster, but I want more.
You want more? Well, I promise.
It might be a little too ambitious of me to ask.
Well, no,
but I'm curious. I love both experiences.
I'm glad to hear that you want more. That helps me going to, again, that planning portion of next year of what to do. I mean, truthfully, I'm a little bit at a pause because I've got this I'm in this hopeful place that we're going to have this vaccine and we're going to get back on stage. But in the meanwhile, 2 weeks ago, when I didn't feel like, I was like, when are we going to produce again? I was like, okay, well, maybe we can do this cool Broadway on the Bowery idea, which is another concept that I have about bringing sort of downtown artists and uptown artists together. I thought we could do this virtually and we can make, so my brain is constantly having these ideas, but then I'm also watching the news and going,
it's a tough time right now.
It is.
Are you going to want to watch Estella or something like that when theater comes back? Like, is it going to replace? I think that's the question that I have to figure out, at least for my patrons, because we only have a certain amount of money, Alicia.
Yeah.
Of
course. And to answer to that question, in keeping with the sentiment of your campaign, let's say going forward, like 2 years from now, what do you want your patrons to remember about your response during this time?
That's such a great question. I hope that they will notice that during this very difficult time that we were able to produce content and important work like elegies. We were able to give, like I said, the six virtual short plays. We were able to present Estella Scrooge. We have.
You didn't stop.
And we didn't stop. I mean, my partner has said to me a couple of times that I'm working harder now than I ever had in the past, and it's shockingly true because every week we have 2 radio plays that are out. We have a brand new one coming in February. So I hope that people acknowledge and see that my mission truly was to not only keep theater alive in New York, but to keep this theater alive. I think watching so many things, whether, there was a rehearsal studio that shut down. I think it's Shetler, but I used to rehearse and sometimes restaurants and things. And, I luckily didn't have anyone close to me that I lost or family members, but losing sort of those things, seeing things get lost and having the company on my shoulders and going every day, waking up saying, I'm not going to lose this company to COVID. I'm not going to lose this company that people spent 28 years building. There's not that many of these companies left that have the legacy. So I hope people see that there was a lot of work put in during a time that you could have rolled over and stayed in bed. That's what I hope they would see in 3 years. I hope that's what I would hope they say.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Thank you.
Amen. Bianca, I was watching Half Brothers last week, and suddenly there you were, and I almost started crying because I was like, I don't see many people. Like I see my UPS guy maybe once a week or so, but I'm like, I saw you, and I was like, oh my God, I know her, and I was like, oh my God, and it gave me, I was very moved by your performance in it, but I jumped, like way ahead of myself because I wanted to talk a little bit about, your work. I love you so much on stage, but I was like enthralled by you playing Chita. I mean, last time I talked to you, you were in West Side Story, and then you got to play Chita. And I always say that production of West Side Story at the Knockdown Center, where you were doing Anita and Chita was in the audience, was probably like the most magical experience that I've ever had in the theater. So again, I'm like going all over the place, but I wanted to talk a little bit about, like TV work and like film, and whether that has in some ways maybe like kind of like fill that space that, in your heart and your soul that the stage can't offer right now.
Totally. I did that film Half Brothers last year and then kind of forgot about it. Sometimes films take a while, right? They'll take breaks and then they need to post-production, whatever it is. And during pandemic, all of a sudden I got a call. Okay, we're doing it. We're premiering. So it was a little light. It was just amazing the way I found out also that it was out, and critics were watching it, and journalists. A friend journalist of mine took a picture of the screen while the movie was going on and sent it to me. I hadn't even seen it myself because you never know after the editing what are they going to leave and what are they going to take out. And so it was just really amazing when I finally watched it. And I thought it was a great message. And you cry and you laugh, and it's a good message in the end about family, two half brothers that find themselves, they didn't know about each other till later in their lives. And then there was a lot of truth they didn't know. And they finally get answers. And then it's all about healing, forgiving, and letting go so you can move forward. And so it's a good movie to watch right now, especially during these times of pandemic. I feel so proud to have been a part of it. And then also, yes, the Chita, it was one of the biggest blessings of my life because she's one of my biggest icons and examples. And Chita to me is, so the moment that I got noticed that I was going to be attempting to portray Chita, I immediately texted her and said, Chita, this just happened. I can't do this without you. Please let me take you out to dinner so that I can listen to you and you can tell me stories and whatever that. And she was so graceful and so generous and so humble and so loving with me. We never were able to coordinate that lunch because she was out doing cruises. And at the time, this was a while back, but then being at the premiere and having BB and Annie sitting right behind me. My husband's the one that told me, oh, look who's behind you. And Anne Rankin and BB Newirth. And we had just watched 2 episodes back to back in the premiere. And it at the Moment Theater, I think it was, I forgot. Just one of those pinch me. One of those I can die now. One of those things that I just felt so fortunate and so privileged. Just like when I did my Broadway debut in 2002, when I came over from Mexico, that little girl that comes to Broadway, and then I learned the history of it, that I was the first Mexican woman to cross over with a lead role, that it wasn't just about me, that not only about Mexico, that it was about all Latin community, that we're there representing, putting as an ambassador, putting the flag, representing and letting everybody know that we're here, And so it's been quite the journey during pandemic to have these little things that you can watch over again, that every now and then I'll get somebody new that shoots me an email and I'm just watching Fosse Verdon. Oh my God, there you are. It's still happening. And it's the best feeling ever. It is food for my soul. And it reminds me of everything that I've done. And when I need a little bit of a reminder, some days are tough. During pandemic, I have nothing to complain about. Nothing. And I'm so grateful.
So Bianca, going back to Chita, I know Chicago has a really special place in your heart. So I'm curious to know how did you balance the meanings these songs had for you way back when versus what they meant to you then, or what they mean to you now? How do you balance that?
The songs of Chicago, you mean?
Yeah, the meaning they have for you.
They have for me. Well, every time, because throughout the years, I've been so lucky to have a role to grow up with, literally to mature with, to explore life with, and to grow up as a woman and to go through as a woman, as a dancer, as an actor, as a singer. Everything you find. Can you imagine being on tour everywhere and then being here on Broadway and just explore, experiment.
Yes.
Every time I leave and go do another show, every time I come back to Roxie, I have something new to give her, to offer her, to feed her. So I've just been so lucky. But the song Nowadays, every time I freaking sing that, I mean, right now I don't know if I'm going to get through, saying the words without crying. Because it's good, isn't it? Fun, isn't it? Nowadays, it's but nothing stays. Nothing is permanent. In 50 years or so, it's gonna change, but oh, it's heaven nowadays. So yes, it's gonna leave. Nothing. Yes, everything is gonna end. Nothing is here permanently. But enjoy it now while you have it.
Yeah.
Stop stressing. Oh my God, the day that it finishes and the day that you have it now. So every time that I would get on that stage, dun 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 boom, Velma Roxie, Roxie Hart and Velma Kelly, boom. You can like the life you're living every moment. I could choking, I couldn't sing because it's take a mental picture. You're here now. Feel it. Feel your shoes. Feel the stage. Feel the el bastón. Feel the cane. Feel the el bombín. Feel the light. Feel the audience. This is happening right now. Right now, you're here. Later, in half an hour, you'll be taking off your costume and you'll be going home and having a drink. Right now, you're here, next to whoever your Velma is in this moment, who you cherish and celebrate, who you respect and admire, and who you're, on Fosse Verdon, when I was living this moment with Michelle Williams. Let me tell you a really quick story. I'll try to tell it in the quickest. Months before I got Chita, I was on a flight to Miami to do the tour of Miami. They asked me, can you come and do Miami? Jaime Camille is going to do a Billy Flynn and you when we want you to do Roxie. It's a week in Miami, all the Latinos. Okay. So my flight, first class, who's next to me? Michelle Williams. I'm like, holy shit.
No way.
There's my shit. I warned you that I was going to say. I had seen her at that moment in The Greatest Showman and All the Money in the World. So I was flying a lot, and I had seen those two of the films had been out, and I had just seen them. So of course I had a lot to say to her, but I'm like, no, but I'm going to respect her, and I'm not going to be one of those fans like, so I'm just going to. But I loved her. She was sitting right there, and I was over here. Okay, didn't say a word. Then they served us our lunch. I think something dropped or something. I'm like, oh, my bread or something. Like, that's it. The flight finished. We got up and I said, I have to say something to this woman. This is all I said to her. Much light to you. And she said, thank you. She gave me a huge smile. She has a big smile, big smile like me, like big mouth. Okay. And that was it. And she went, oh, that was it. I had my little moment with Michelle Williams. So, life goes on. Months go by. Months. Take 8 months. All this happens, my audition, Chita, I got it, whatever. I asked, who's going to be Gwen Verdon? Michelle Williams. And I go, oh, we go way back. We had lunch together in the sky. Okay. Months go by. We arrive. We start filming. The moment of Nowadays, rehearsal comes, and we're in the room. Michelle Williams is a very private, shy person. And she doesn't look up too much, but she's such a sweet person, I'll tell you. So we're rehearsing. She hasn't opened up to me. I said, I gotta get her to trust me. I gotta get her. I think she thinks, I don't know. So I gotta get her that it's okay, that we can, So we were on a break, and I told Michelle, I'm gonna tell you a story. And she goes, okay, because I go like that. Right? So, and she goes, and I go, a month ago, I was on this flight, and next to me was you. So we had lunch, and in the end, I told you this. You don't remember, that's okay. And then I got Chita Rivera. And then they tell me Michelle Williams. and da, 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 da. And here we are. And this is exactly how we were sitting, like on the flight. And so little did we know, it was Roxie Hart and Velma Kelly.
Wow.
We're shooting. We're at the theater with all the cranes, the cameras, and we're shooting that moment when they're on the MC is saying, and now, ladies and gentlemen, the theater, la 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 la, Roxie Hart and Velma Kelly. And if you go back to the series, Fosse Verdon, and you see the camera is going like that from the top. The guys on the second floor saying this, and then they come, and we're there, and you will see something that wasn't on script that Michelle decided to do. Right before we went action, because we did it many times, and there we were standing to each other. She tells me, little did we know, a girl from Montana and a girl from Mexico, she said. And I got one even better. A girl from Montana and a girl from Monterrey. That's where I was born. M-O-N-T, Montana, M-O-N-T, Monterrey. And I got another one. I told her. Exactly. And I hadn't said it when I told the story before. And I said, this is exactly how we were seated on that plane. You to my left and me to the right. And so the cameras start going down. And right before we started, and this is the one they kept on the series, you will see Michelle going like this with her hand to me. And I give her my hand. And we hold hands. And then we go back to our canes. You can't
have to look into that.
You're living.
Wow.
So it's a very special moment. And to answer your question, Alicia, these words mean so much to me. All the words in the show, since I'm funny, honey, Roxie, what can I say about the entire monologue? I'm older than I ever intended to be, and I can finally say it, right? Because I got this role when I was 25 and 44 now. So all these little messages, it's so important, such a genius and brilliant script. But nowadays, it's the most important during pandemic, especially because we're so worried about everything that we think that we lost or everything that we are waiting for to come back. And we're not enjoying all the blessings that we have in this moment.
That is so true.
Such a great story too. I just have to say thank you for sharing that. I'm glad I was part of this conversation.
Thank you for listening, because it's dear to my heart. So I love sharing it, and I think it's very special. And then we kept in touch, but of course our lives have gone like that. Doesn't matter. I'll always have that little moment with her, and it means a lot. So all I have to do is transport myself and to that little moment, and then I can be reminded of a lot of things that are useful to remember now. That gives me courage and gives me strength.
You're making me want to like do the hot honey rag. That gorgeous story. And like, I got the chills and everything. That's absolutely beautiful. So thank you both so much for joining us. Like, let us know about this. Is your moment to plug everything you have going on. Where can people find the I Will campaign? Like, what else do you have going on? Like, tell us everything right now.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and Bianca, thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Oh, it's so good to see you, Chad.
So good to see you. I'm going to email you.
I can't wait to see you again.
We will so soon, and we'll drink so much wine. You can keep
Please.
that. You can keep that in the recording. I'm going to just stay out all night with you. All night. I can't wait to see you on stage again. Everything with Abingdon you can find at abingdontheater.org. And it's RE for theater, so it's Abingdon Theater with an RE.org. And you can go and you can check out the I Will campaign. You can watch so many things for free and listening to so many things for free, and join the I Will campaign also by just making your proclamation, which is always exciting. And also we have the Instagram and all those fun things. It's all simple under abingdontheater.org.
And Bianca, what about you? I mean, you have Half Brothers. There's Fosse Verdon if people want to stream it.
Half Brothers. I've got my, that's what's going on. That's out now. And I just keep posting every now and then on Instagram, things, the past performances or supporting other people. So my Twitter, my Facebook, and my Instagram, and every now and then I'll share something positive, to a message or something that if it helps me during the day, I know that it's going to serve somebody else. because we're all in this boat together and we're all in the same boat, trying to lift each other up. So just look for my Instagram. And if you find something that serves you or that you want to share that you think that it'll be useful for people to be exposed to right now, go ahead, feel free. And that's what I'm aiming for. But thank you, others.
Thank you both so much. And I promise next time we will meet at the theater. So
I'll see you at the theater soon.
bye. Thank you.